Ayodhya Kandam, which is the second. We said it is, compared to Balakandam, this is almost twice the number of verses for what is supposed to be barely a matter of few weeks of what was covered. And last class, and continuing on to this class, we've been touching upon Bharata mainly. So we saw last week Bharata had returned from Kekeya Desham, and how he navigated all of the different, first of all, the emotional turmoil that he had to go through when he learned what had transpired, that he lost his father, he lost his brother, he lost Sita, Lakshmana, all of them have left, and to make it all worse, that he was deemed to be the root cause of all this. He was the reason why all this had happened. But while he was dealing with all of his own personal anguish, he also had to navigate the subtleties of dharma, to say, making sure, and that was a beautiful description we all learned. And then finally, having met Guha, having met Rishi Bharadwaj, he is finally entering Chitrakoot, where he is about to meet Rama. I want to quickly go back to one point. We saw the description of Kaikeyi that Bharata had given, right? We said that she is Atmakama, she is Sada Chandi, so all of those descriptions. But it's interesting that if you see all through Ramayana till this point, Kaikeyi had never ever shown any kind of hatred or dislike towards Rama. And remove the slides also. Yeah. So Kaikeyi had never shown any kind of hatred or dislike, not even a trace of it. There is no mention whatsoever. In fact, all the mention is she loved Rama more than her own son. So it's somewhat surprising that how come suddenly a person can turn, right? And in our scriptures, often we describe the mind as a little bit like an iceberg. And as an iceberg, you only see a bit of it, but you don't know all the stuff that's under it. And that's the case with the mind. And in the Shastras, they talk about 3 types of vasanas, or all the software that exists. What we see in terms of our personality is just a very surface layer, but there are deep-rooted vasanas which sometimes are almost hidden. When the opportunity comes, they come and express. So we often, we hear these things, this person was such a nice person, he would never even do this. How come he did this or she did that? And it sometimes surprises the same individual why that happened. The only thing we can take from all this, rather than judging Kaikeyi or any other person, is all of these qualities may even reside. Sometimes it happens with things like alcohol. Somebody doesn't drink for many years, they went through university without touching, and all of a sudden, maybe in the middle age, suddenly they pick up and now they can't give up. And you wonder, when it was so tempting, you were so vulnerable, you managed it, now you are not able to, right? So I think the learning for us is to recognize that just because I am not in the middle, I'm managing to stay away from some of these vices, that should not become a cause of ego or ahankar for us to say, see, I don't know how these people can't manage. So that's the first thing. I think it's good to have a dose of humility, because you never know which, the next ball could bowl you out, right? So you have to take every ball as it comes. The other aspect is to be really wary of the company we keep, which is why in our culture the importance of satsang is so emphasized. Nobody ever said do half an hour of satsang a week, or don't overdo it. If there is one thing, like in everything we say moderation, the one thing they never say moderate is satsang, because ultimately we are a product of our evolution and we are the company we keep. Now satsang doesn't mean we leave our work and sit in a temple 24/7. That's not the intent. It is in whichever way, and nowadays with technology, I think it's really made it much more easier for us. Whether it is Spotify, whether it is YouTube, whether we are at home, in different channels, we have the ability to keep satsang. Sometimes even you see on a train you're going, 99% of the people, including most of the time us, we want to check. So if you say that, if I don't have any option, maybe I just close my eyes and chant Rama. That is also a form of satsang. So I think that the main takeaway from all this is, these characters teach us that just because something's been running well for 40, 30, 50 years, does not necessarily mean that it will necessarily be that way. You don't know what curveball in our own personality is hiding because of past actions, because of past tendencies that may be waiting. So the best recourse for all of us is to have that bhakti towards the Guru, bhakti towards the Lord, and use that as almost like the vaccination or the armor around us. Because nothing else, not our willpower, not our knowledge, nothing will protect us. It's only that grace that can protect us. So the more we can stay in that vicinity in whatever way, shape or form, better for us. So I just wanted to kind of cover that one reflection. We will now see how Lakshmana had reacted when he saw the army coming, and now we will continue from there on.
So Bharata has taken the guidance from Bharadwaja, and he's just about to reach where Rama's ashrama is in Chitrakuta. He's just about to get there. He finally sort of stops his armies and says, okay, you all stay here, we will now pursue our search by foot. So he calls Shatrughna, he calls Guha, and he tells them, Shatrughna, just take the hunters with you, take Guha along with you, spread out. I will go with the elders and the brahmanas and the rishis. I will go out and search. We need to find out Rama immediately. We need to find out Rama because I'm totally out of peace. Name shantir bhavishyati, name shantir bhavishyati. He tells multiple other things. Up until I see Rama, up until I put my head on the feet of Rama, up until I cleanse my sins for what has happened under my name because of my absence, with me as an excuse, whatever that has happened, up until I see Rama taken back to Ayodhya and the holy water sprinkled on him for the Pattabhishekam, I'm not going to be peaceful at all. Let's go look for Rama. Let's go look for Rama. And he's just spreading things across. He's asking people to spread across. And that is where he gets to see a glimpse of the ashrama. Something like what Bharadwaja had described. He gets to see a glimpse of it. And then he sort of gets enthused. He tries to get closer to that. And he's walking now faster. He's now walking faster. And that's where he starts spotting these split logwoods. Logwoods are all split. The flowers are all plugged. And he can also see some tree barks, the maravudi that they wear, right? Rama, Lakshmana, they wear. It is all put out to dry. And he is also able to now spot some of the cloths that are put out to hang on the tree tops. Typically, they do that to guide you to the right direction in the ashrama during dark hours. So he sees all these things and he even further gets enthused. And he then sees the column of smoke emanating from somewhere. That's typically the Agni, the Havis that you give, the fire sacrifice, which all gives him an indication that he is getting closer to the ashrama. And he starts walking even faster. So the way he's walking now even faster, the army or the others are not able to catch up. It's only Bharata, it's only the Shatrughna who's walking right behind him, few steps away. Sumantra is walking even away. So they are all trying to catch up with Bharata. So finally Bharata sees the cottage. He's able to get a very clear vision of it. He can see some human movements over there. And he can also see that there is a beautiful cottage with all these leaves and everything that is on top of it. And he can also see that there are these wonderful bows that are, fixated onto the walls. He can see the arrows, the quivers, the swords, the armors, the shields, everything is over there. And he now then finally decides, yes, this is where Rama is, this is where Lakshmana is. And he now starts running towards them. And it's only Shatrughna who is able to catch up with him. He is running right behind. And Sumantra is running right behind. All the mothers, all the rishis, they are all back there. The army is all stationed over there. Some hunters along with Guha, they are coming few feet away. And finally, Bharata sees Rama. Now this is a contrast which Valmiki presents to us. There is a Bharata who is weak, who is frail, who is completely wasted, all sweating, and who is weak out of guilt. And then Valmiki immediately turns the camera and shows Rama to us. Rama, as Bharata sees Rama is sitting on the ground, a seat made on the earthen ground, on the Darbhasana, his one leg down and the other leg on top of it. And there is a sense of peace and a tranquility in his face. There is a smile that would never leave his face at all. Bharata looks at it and says, he's looking at Rama for the first ever time after he came back from Kekaya. Rama is all clad in the tree barks. He's wearing the deer skin around him. He has a matted hair on top of him. And he doesn't have any ornaments. but still nothing of no depression or no sense of recklessness or no sense of sadness have even touched Rama. He, on the other hand, looks to be fully reconciled. Not just that, he is at peace. And immediately Bharata, as Valmiki explained to us, is all completely wasted, and he's weak and he's crying. And Bharata, all the while he had been running towards Rama, thousands of thoughts are flowing through his mind, no? Thousands of thoughts. What sort of a person is he? He should be adorned with all ornaments, but he is having deerskin on him. He should be crowned, but he is having a matted log. It's all thanks to me. What sort of a person am I? He does the dhikkara on himself. There are these thousands of thoughts coming over. And now he is so weak that all the while he had been running, slowly he is also losing his strength to run. His pace is now coming down. He is in the vicinity of Rama. Rama has seen him. The only word that Bharata can utter is Arya, Arya, meaning who else can be as noble as you? Who can be so much at peace, so much happy and so much reconciled despite such a great loss? He completely loses his stamina. He sits down. He just falls on the feet of Rama. Rama sitting right there. He falls flat on the ground with his head on Rama's feet. Shatrughna comes and he falls on Rama's feet. And the other Guha and Sumantra, they are also slowly coming into the picture over there. Rama, he picks up Bharata. He hugs him. He gives him a very tight hug. He hugs Shatrughna. And all the hunters, they are all witnessing this as if, to them, this is a picture where it appears to them as if all these planets, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, they are all together, When they look at the sky, all these stars are together. That's how it appears. And Rama is not just happy, he is relieved on seeing Bharata, because he had been terribly worried about Bharata as to what Bharata would do, how Bharata would take over all these realities that have now unfolded. Now upon seeing Bharata, he is extremely relieved. He sits and he seats both his lovely dear brothers on his lap. And he greets them. He tells them, he asks Bharata, my child. The addressal here is Tata. Tata means my darling, my dear little child. In Hindi we say beta. In Tamil we say Kodandai. To him, he is his little brother. He is his baby brother. He says, Bharata, what brings you here? And why do you look so weak? Is everything okay back there? And you seem to be here without father? What's happening there? Is father coming back? How are the mothers? And is everything okay back there? Are you making sure that the affairs are well being taken care of? And this is where Rama starts asking a series of questions in a very polite, very endearing manner to Bharata. Bharata, on the other hand, is not able to say a word. He is sobbing. His throat is choked. He's sobbing like a baby sitting on the lap of Rama. And this is a sarga which has close to about 75, 78 different shlokas. The sarga is only about Rama asking different questions to Bharata. Kachit, how is that? How is this? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? So the sargam itself is called as Kachit sargam. And if somebody wants to write down a manual in terms of how to govern a nation, they should read this sargam. Because there are a series of questions that Rama asks Bharata. And we can just go over a few glimpses of 2-3 such things. He asks Bharata, are you waking up early in the morning and working out your affairs, working out your strategies? Are you spending not too less time, not too much time, but exactly the time that you need to spend? Are you making sure that you are having the right counsel of people around you? Because under the name of ministers and all these people, many not so knowledgeable people or people who are vested in their own interest would come and surround you. You have to make sure that you have the right set of people who are not attached to any of the outcomes. You have to have people who are not just wise, but are also selfless in their services. Are you having that type of people around you counseling you? Are you making sure that you are taking good care of your craftsmen, artisans? Are you paying the salary on time to your staff? Is your army well taken care of? Are you strategizing it in such a way that the news doesn't slip out, the news doesn't leak out, people do not get to know about your strategy until it is implemented? and you are behaving in such a way that people don't guess your strategies, because every other kingdom will make sure that there are spies planted in your kingdom. Have you made sure that there are these spies planted in other kingdoms as well? And are you waking up on time, and are you making sure you're passing through the roads where all people pass so that they can get a glimpse of you? Are you making sure that you're giving access to the people but not too much access? So he asks a series of questions. Are you doing dharma? Are you doing dharma but not at the cost of artha? So that is a very important point here, that one should not get into a mode of doing dharma and just empty away all their treasuries. They should make sure that the artha means wealth. One should make sure that the dharma is done not at the cost of artha, and one should also make sure that artha is not obtained at the cost of dharma. There has to be a balance. And he also asks, are you making sure that you are not giving up both the dharma and artha for a kama? So there is a balance. He is asking about all these things, and finally he asks, why do you look so frail, and why are you dressed in all this tree barks, and is everything okay? Are you okay with your health? Because in the process of all these questioning, he asks, are you maintaining the dhanakosha, dhanyakosha, this, that, and everything? Everything has to be balanced. Everything has to be, it shouldn't be too much, it shouldn't be too less. And finally he asks about how are the mothers and the fathers doing, and our dear father doing. And that is when Bharata, he says that our father has moved on to the higher worlds, my dear brother. He could not bear the separation from you. He has left us behind alone. Now, you should come over and take over what father has left back for us. Now, the moment Rama gets this news that father has passed away, he immediately faints down. He is not able to take the news. He never expected this. Because the only doubt that he had was, without any one of them, without any one of these four brothers, there wouldn't be anybody to take care of the father. But he was relieved the moment he saw Bharata, because he knew that Bharata is going to be there for his father. But the moment he learned that the father has passed away, he falls down flat, fainted. Then Bharata and Shatrughna and others, they sprinkle water on him, and Rama starts wailing. He starts crying that he remembers everything, every other love and affection that Dasharatha had showered upon him. He says, what sort of a person am I that I was not there to attend to my father's last moments? He would have wanted me there. And what sort of a person am I that I was not able to fulfill that wish? And it's such a wretched time. I'm not a true son in that sense at all. Bharata, you are the great son. You had the opportunity. You had the opportunity to be performing all the last rites for our fathers. Saying so, then he slowly, Sita, Lakshmana, they all help Rama to come up, and they go down. They reach the Mandakini river to do the tarpanams and all the water rites. And that is when Rama says he's uncontrollably, inconsolably sobbing. He is not able to reconcile with the news at all. He then asks when you do the Shraddham, when you do the Tarpanams, during the Tarpanams and such things, you are supposed to give the same food that you consume. It should not be a very special food, it should not be some menial food as well. The food that you consume for your daily, as a part of your staple diet, should be offered as the pindams to the Pitrus. So he asks Lakshmana to bring the ingudi nuts. Ingudi is one of the forest nut that is available. He asks that to be brought with few other nuts and darbas, because that's the food that they get to have. He makes the pindam out of it, and he gives the water libations. And then he comes back and he hugs Bharata, and he starts wailing aloud. He starts crying aloud. Bharata, Shatrughna, Lakshmana, they all hug each other and they are wailing at the top of their voice. And that voice reaches the base camp over here where the mothers and the rishis, they are all seated. They then realize that, okay, they have reached Bharata. Bharata has reached the ashrama. They also then ascend the Chitrakuta hill, and finally they reach. When Kausalya passes through the Mandakini, she sees the pindam over there, and she's pained to see that my son, who is the prince, who was supposed to be crowned as a prince of Ayodhya, is having the ingudi nuts for food. He is supposed to be having the Panchabhakshe Paramannas. And he's sitting on a Darbhasana. He should be sitting on the Rajya Simhasana. Looking at this, she gets again all the pains that she earlier endured. Everything, all the wounds are now opening up. They all finally reach the ashrama. Rama prostrates to the mothers, and Kausalya hugs Rama, and she hugs Sita. She looks at Sita, "Hey Sita, what sort of a life were you supposed to enjoy? Being the princess of the Videha dynasty. And look what we have done to you." And they all sit there, and the entire night passes in gloom. And the entire night passes in gloom, and they all settle down for the night. Whoever were there, they have all reached. The entire Ayodhya, whoever had been there, they have all reached the ashrama. They all settle down. The next day morning, Rama and the brothers, they wake up, they go, they do their anushtanas, they do their japas, and finally they all come and sit in front of Rama. So Vasishta and all the rishis are there, the brothers are there, the mothers are there, Guha, Sumantra, everybody are there, the people, their representatives, everybody are there. Now they are all curious because they are all here to take Rama back, and they are all curious to see who is going to start this conversation, because all these arguments have already been done and Rama had already made his position, his resolve very clear. So there is no going back on these at all, right? So they are all looking at Bharata, what he is going to say, and Bharata, being the Karya Durandara, he starts the conversation. He starts the conversation. Even Vasishta is unable to open up and speak. Even Vasishta was there when Rama left. So they are all silent. Now is when Bharata starts talking to Rama. He says, just one inquiry that Rama makes to Bharata that I wanted to mention. He says, "How is Kaikeyi?" He inquires importantly about Kaikeyi. When he asks about mothers, he asks, "How is Kausalya? How is Sumitra? How is the Arya Kaikeyi?" So somewhere Rama knows that Bharata would be having nothing but hatred and despise for Kaikeyi, and that's the reason he's trying to seed these words to make sure that Bharata does not allow this hatred to fester. So this morning, Bharata starts talking to Rama, and he says, "Brother, I was given this Rajya, and I am giving away the Rajya to you now. Somebody had given me the Rajya, I never asked for it. I would like to give it away to you now. Because, to say the least, I am not qualified to rule this country. I do not know. It is like asking a short child to cut a big tree or to climb a big tree. It is like a bird. It is like a very small bird, like a sparrow. You are asking me to compete with a Garuda. How is that even possible? Can a deer have a race with a horse? I am a child in all these matters. Take away this burden away from me. Not just that, take away this sin from me. Please come back to Ayodhya and accept this kingdom and start ruling it. You need to do this. Only then you would be able to help us all. The entire kingdom of Ayodhya is dependent on you. Nothing is going to happen in Ayodhya without you. That is the reason you see here, the entire Ayodhya, all the citizenry from the city, not just from the city, from the entire country, they are assembled over here." And Rama listens to all these and says, "Bharata, I know you're a noble soul. You are an adherent of Dharma. I know that pretty well. But it's not in our hands really, Bharata. We are all victims of fate. We are all victims of destiny." And this is where he says, when Bharata is giving himself, submitting himself up to Rama, he says, "Tasya me dhasa bhutasya prasadam kartumarhasi." Give us this prasadam of accepting the kingdom. Abhishinchasva chadhyaiva rajyena mahamanida. And Rama talks about the response. If you look at Rama, it sounds to be a little Vairagya response, where you develop a sense of insensitivity towards the worldly pleasures because you've realized how transient they are, how temporary they are. And he starts saying, Natmanaha kamakarosti purusho yamani suraha. We all think that we are instrumental in what's going on, Bharata. That's not true at all. Nothing of what happens is due to our smartness. It all happens. Do you think we both are brothers over here? Do you think this is going to last long for a very long time? We are like logs floating on a river. So when two logs are floating on a river together, one log thinks that, okay, this other log is going to be my companion all through. Never. They are going to part their ways. So it's just a matter of time. Death awaits all. Death awaits all of us. That is the only truth. And the earlier that we understand this, the better for us. So it's like when a caravan is passing through and there is a bystander who's standing on the road. He just wants to join the caravan. That way, we also join all our Pitrus who go to the Pitrulok. So this entire world is so transient, Bharata. So not realizing that people indulge in pleasures. People indulge in pleasures, not even so. They go to the funeral, they go attend to a funeral. The next day morning, they start doing something that they think is. Why did it not occur to them that this same funeral is going to be happening to them sometime? It doesn't happen. People don't realize what the truth is. But that's not what it is, Bharata. It's not about that at all. Sarve kshayanta nichayaha patananta samutsrayaha samyoga viprayoganta maranantam tu jivitam. All that we do is only up until the end of our life. So it's not a matter of where we go. It's not a matter of what happens after we go. It's a matter of how we live this life. Have we lived this life as per the dharma? So our father, he has passed away. And that's a fact that we all have to gulp. But how did he live his life when he was alive? He was an adherent of dharma. He was an adherent of satya. And as a son to such a noble soul, isn't it our responsibility to make sure that his words are adhered to? Is it not our responsibility to make sure that his word is kept up? So it's not about that at all, Bharata. You can't just wish away whatever that our father had asked for. It is our duty to keep up that word. So I am here for all right reasons. Don't allow confusions. Don't allow any such confusions at all. But Bharata asks back a question. Now Bharata starts off with a request. Now he gets into a cross-questioning, or it's not an argument in argumentative mode, but a debate. He says, "Hey Rama, don't you know you are the knower of dharma? You have the knowledge of what dharma is, what is right, what is wrong. What is a kshatriya doing in a forest? Is a kshatriya is supposed to be there in the government. He is supposed to take care of his governance. He is supposed to be ensuring the protection and the running of his country affairs. And there is also this saying that Garhastya, which is the Grahastha ashrama, is the most special of all the four ashrama. He says, Chaturnam ashramanam hi Garhastyam shreshtam ashram. That is the most special of all the ashramas. And what are you doing here? You say that you would like to follow or you would like to keep up the word what Dasharatha had given. But haven't you not heard this other proverb that as people grow old, their judgments also start fading? For all that we all know, what Dasharatha had given as a word was not in right frame of mind. So, even a noble person making a wrong judgment due to senility, as a true Kshatriya, you are supposed to stand up and correct him. You are supposed to make sure that the right things alone are picked up and followed. Now, if you say that you are going to follow what Dasharatha had committed, because he did that, that would be totally contrary to what is right. Is that not? Would it not be rather the right thing for you to do to come back to Ayodhya and rule, rather than sitting here and keeping up the word of a person who was hardly in the right frame of mind? To that again, Rama replies, Bharata, my dear brother, I never said no to the Rajya. Don't talk as if, and who says who that I have relinquished Kshatriya Dharma? Look, my Kodandam is there. Let there be a person coming, challenging or putting anybody at risk. The Kodandam is there, right there for me. All my swords and arrows, all the Shastras that I got from Vishwamitra, they are all there. Kshatriya has not gone away from Dharma at all, from Rama at all. And I'm doing my daily Agni Karyas. Sita is holding the Dharma. I'm following the Garhastya Dharma as well. But that doesn't give us any excuse to give up the truth. You say Dasharatha had given word when he was out of his mind. I don't think so at all. You are just thinking, assuming things to your convenience. Dasharatha had married Kaikeyi by giving a word to Kaikeyi's father that he will give her a big kingdom. When Kaikeyi was helping Dasharatha in the war, in the battle, in the Devasara battle, he gave her 2 boons. And Kaikeyi implemented those 2 boons. The timing might not be to our convenience. The timing might not even be to Dasharatha's expectation. It might have been a shock to him. But everything is happening fair and square. No senility, nothing. Don't allow any confusion to creep into your mind. This is a word given to Dasharatha, given by Dasharatha. What had been, Kaikeyi might have taken advantage of it, but it is our duty to make sure that that is kept up. If that is not kept up, imagine, we are all called as putras because he gets into, in Sanskrita, putra means somebody who helps the person to escape the hell called put. Put is a hell. Put is the name of a hell where people who do not follow truth are pushed into. Now it is only the sons who can help their fathers to keep up their promises. Now if I don't keep up the promise, I am going to be pushing my own father into the hell. So let's not do that. Let's not do that at all. This way there was this conversation between Bharata and Rama. Everybody is just watching without making any type of an interference, and the rishis there are all taken aback looking at the type of conversation happening between 2 brothers. Sri Anna makes a wonderful mention over here that there would be a huge wealth and there would be these sons, 3 or 4 sons. They will be on the streets fighting with each other for the wealth. So the wealth would be sitting inside the palace. The wealth would be sitting inside that big palatial house. And the father would have already died. And these brothers would be on the street literally throwing mud at each other for the wealth. Here, the 2 brothers are inside there. The wealth is on the street. Nobody is there to take ownership of the wealth at all. That is the very strange part that the Maharishis are all appalled to see here. And there is one Maharishi who makes an interjection here. Jabali. Jabali is one such Maharishi. He presents what we can sort of understand or interpret as the Nastikavada. He says, "Hey Rama, I've been listening to you both talking to each other. You call something about dharma, about Pitruvakya Paripalana, about Satya and all that. Have you ever seen dharma? Is that some sort of an embodiment? Is that tall? Is that short? Is that big? Is that fat? Does that have a humanoid form? Does it look like an animal? What are you doing all these for? Come on, I mean, you are a young person, you have a wife, Sita is standing right there, and there is an Ayodhya that is waiting for you, all those riches are awaiting you. You should just go for it, grab it and enjoy it, my friend. On the contrary, you are talking some nonsense stuff. In fact, he goes about to call Rama a fool. He says, Unmatta ivad sajnyeyu. Unmatta means somebody who's lost his mind. He calls Rama that. And he goes about to say, the life to be lived, the model code of conduct in a life is to just enjoy your existing day. So whatever that is there, pleasures, go indulge in them. Don't worry about dharma, what is going to come up tomorrow. They talk about shraddha, they do pindas for shraddha. I don't understand. You're doing pinda for your father. What gives you an assurance? Did you see the food going away to your father? Did your father call you and tell you that he had this pinda and then he satiated his hunger? Nothing of the sort. It's all nonsense. All these rituals, all these dharma, everything is nonsense. It is all written by rishis to make sure that their sons are well employed by the people implementing these dharma. He says that. And today we also, this sort of a pratidhvani, we can even hear it today. This sort of a discourse is there even today. Ramayana just places the facts, Valmiki places the facts as they are. Jabali presents them. He presents them this typical Nastikavada. And he says that...
But Jabali is a rishi.
Jabali is a rishi.
He's a rishi, but he's giving that.
Yes. And Rama is going to be condemning it. So Rama is going to be answering them all now. And he says that Ranam Krutva Kritam Pibet. I mean, Kritam as in, I want to have ghee. and I'm too poor to have ghee. So I borrow someone else's money, buy ghee and have it. And he says, you're borrowing ghee. You're borrowing money to just have ghee. How are you going to repay him? Why should I repay him? That is dharma. Go to hell. Who knows dharma? I don't care. If you don't follow dharma, you'll go to hell. Not having ghee is a hell already for me. That's the type of, so don't worry about dharma, don't worry about hell. You are not going to be there. I mean, it is all written by people or said about people. Nobody has really seen that. You don't have to follow any of these. Just come to Ayodhya, grab what Bharata is giving over to you. It's all, I don't see any sense in whatever that you're saying. This is Jabali's argument. Rama patiently listens to that and then he starts talking. Jabali, Maharishi, I thought my father is a completely faultless soul. I do see a fault in him. How can he have a person like you in his council? I really doubt. Such a noble person as Dasharatha had a person like you who exactly misinterprets what dharma is. You talk about things that seem to be good for me, that is absolutely not good for me at all. That is exactly the Kali Nyaya. This is even more pronounced in many stories in Mahabharata. If you look at all the arguments of Duryodhana, that is precisely how it comes up. It's only you have to go through the Bhagavad Gita to go to the nuances and then understand what the right perspective is. Jabali is just giving us a taste of that in one yuga, one previous yuga itself. And Rama says, what is it without Satya? Satyam is the very basic foundation of anything, Jabali. This entire world, this entire society rests on Satyam. This entire edifice of the society is constructed on a trust, on a bondage that is born out of trust, a trust that is built on the foundation of Satyam. You take away Satyam, nobody is going to trust each other. The husband is not going to trust his wife, the son is not going to trust the father, the people are not going to trust their leaders, the boss is not going to trust the employee. There would be no trust and everything would be in shambles, everything would be in shatters. You talk about a big wealth. Who created this wealth? Without a Satyam, do you think one atom can be moved? Everybody have to be seated in their dharma for anything to move in this entire world. Without that, without the Satyam, nothing really moves. And he goes about to give the excellence or the magnificence or the greatness of Satyam. Satyameva drishamsamche rajavrittam sanatanam tasmat satyatmakam rajyam satye lokaha pratishtitah. Satya is the linchpin for all the governance models, for all the dharmas. And Rishayas-chaiva devascha satyameva hi menire satyavadi hi lokesmin paramam gachati kshayam. The rishis, they all do their oblations, they all do their fire sacrifices and everything only to have the Satyam protected. Only because they say Lokakshema, they say Yogakshema, they say the wellness, the universal wellness and everything. It is all oriented towards, so long as the truth is maintained, the world order would be maintained. Udvijante yatha sarpan. Sarpan, who does not adhere to Satyam, you should move away from him because he is as dangerous as a sarpa, as a serpent, as a snake. Satyameva Ishvaro loke, Satyam Padmashruta sada, Satya Mulani Sarvani, Satya Nasti Parampadam. There is nothing above Satyam at all. So when we say Satyameva Jayate, it's not Satya Jayate. Truth wins nahi. No, it's not about truth wins. Truth alone wins. Meaning, it's not about a battle between truth and a lie. Obviously, truth trumps a lie, we know that. But even within the group of dharmas, if there is a contradiction between two dharmas, which we can refer to as dharma sankatam, both the things appear to be right to me. There is a pitruvakya paripalanam, there is a matruvakya paripalanam. Both are given to me, ordained to me by the smritis, by the shruti vakyas. Matra devo bhava, pitru devo bhava. So if Mata has said something, Pita has said something, whom should I follow? Ask yourself this question. Satya is on which part? Satyam is on which part? Stick to that. So, Satyameva Jayate, the meaning here is, even if there is a contradiction among dharmas, out of all them, the Satyam is the Raja, the Satyam is the king. Satya Mulani Sarvani, Satyam is the Bijam, it's the Mula Prakriti, it's the innate, it's the final DNA of anything that you can see, that you can't see, that is tangible, intangible, everything. Satyam Nasti Parampadam, there is absolutely nothing above Satyam at all. And Jabali, here you are. presenting what exactly is false, but quoting it as if it is true? What is the point in me being the king so long as I'm not able to keep up this satyam? What sort of an example will I set for my society? Yatha raja tatha praja. If I do this, will the body politic of my country not indulgence in a similar non-compliance, non-conformity towards satyam? How can I go and correct them? Because if I go and try to correct them, if I try to go and question them or punish them, will they not say that, Rama, okay, look who's talking? Is that the type of person that you want me to be? So Jabali, you should not have been a part of my father's council at all. When Rama makes this argument, Jabali is just rattled. Now he says, because Jabali, Dasharatha has a very balanced body of ministries. This Vadam is called as Purva Paksham. Purva Paksham meaning, in Tamil we call it as Munvadam. You take an argument to trump it and then create an explanation. Then you take that explanation as an argument and you trump it and then go to the next explanation. Again you trump it, again you go to, so you keep peeling the onion and finally you go to that quintessential essence which can never be questioned. That is what is called as Siddhanta. And in this particular Sargam, Rama presents Satyam as the Siddhanta. So this, if somebody says, okay, we have Sri Bhashyam which establishes the Vishishtadvaita, we have a Prasthanatrayam that establishes the Advaita. What does Ramayana as is that just a story or is that the Siddhanta Grantha? It is a Siddhanta Grantha and the Siddhanta it presents is the Satyam. That is precisely what is explained specifically in these chapters. Rama tells them almost in every other Kanda, every other Sarga, but this particular Sargam where Rama goes straight against the Purva Paksha, he establishes the Siddhanta of Satya. That is when Vasishta interferes. He says, Rama, Jabali is not like that. He is not an Astika. Don't mistake him to be an Astika. All of us are really desperate to bring you back. Jabali was just trying to use an argument to try convincing you. To which Rama says, I will never allow any confusion. I will never allow any ignorance. I will never allow any temptation. No impulsive reaction. Nothing can really move me from my resolve to stick to Satya. Rama makes his position absolutely clear. And that is where Vasishta then says, once upon a time there was only water, and in water the earth was created. And Brahma, he wanted to go ahead with the creation. How can you create anything on earth which is all submerged in water? That is when the Varaha Avatar comes. It takes and he goes about explaining the entire sequence of those events and says that Brahma created Marichi created Kashyapa then created the Sapta Manus, out of which the 7th Manu or the Vaivaswata Manu was the forefather of this entire Surya Vamsham. He begetted Ikshvaku. From Ikshvaku onwards, there had been kings after kings after kings, Rama. He reads out the entire Ikshvaku dynasty. He says, your Surya Vamsham had been the lineage of great kings like Manu, Mandhata, Kakutstha, Bhagirath, Sagara, Bharata, Sagara, Anshuman, Ambarisha, all the way up until Aja and Dasharatha. In this entire lineage, it is only the first son who is given the Rajya. That is how this entire lineage had been going on. Why do you want to create a non-conformity in this? And look, I am your Guru. The Guru as per the Shrutis are the mother, father and the Guru, and it is only the Guru that gives the wisdom. So you can rest assured that anything that you do as per my counsel will not expose you to any sins, any non-conformity. And Bharata is listening to these conversations. Finally he says, he now gets into, so he started off with a request, then he got into a debate. Now he gets into more aggressive form of, it's like a non-cooperation, it's like a protest. He says, Sumantra, get me the dharbas and spread it over here. I'm going to sit here, I'm not going to move an inch. I don't need any, I'm not going to have food, I'm not going to have any drink, no water, nothing until Rama comes back. I'm going to wage this satyagraha. Rama looks at Bharata because with the Siddhantam that Rama has just established, nobody can trump Rama in a debate because that is very clear now. Now he looks at Bharata and says, Bharata, What are you talking about? Are you out of your mind? You're doing a satyagraha. Do you realize that? This is not what we are meant here for, Bharata. Satyagraha is meant for noble causes. It is not meant for causes to transgress what is truth, what is dharma. So get up and touch me and touch the water. Because Bharata has sat on a satyagraha. Rama wants to respect that satyagraha. He doesn't say, okay, just get up, this is all nonsense. No, he doesn't say that. He says, now that you have sat on the darbhasana for a satyagraha, close it logically. Close it, give that the respect that it deserves, touch me and touch the water. Because we do, right? I mean, when we do the anushtans, we do the work, we touch the water, and this is a respect. Do that and get back to your kingdom. That is what you should do. That is an order from your loving brother. Now, Bharata, that is the final phase of Bharata. He completely gets into a submission mode. He starts crying. He says, Rama, I beg you now. I beg you, please come back to Ayodhya. I can't take this burden. I am not qualified for that. I can't manage this. To which Rama pulls Bharata. He makes him sit on his lap again. He hugs him. He kisses his forehead. Bharata, you are an embodiment of dharma. You are totally selfless. That dharma will be with you. All the rishis, they will be with you. You can do that. You can do this. And I am going to be there after 14 years, after I fulfill my promise. Then Bharata turns to Rama and says, Rama, let this be known to you. I need one favor from you. After the completion of 14 years, the first day after the 14 years, if you are not there in Ayodhya, I am going to throw myself into the fire. And Rama says, so be it. But Bharata, I need one promise from you. And it's not just a promise. You have to promise on me and Sita together that once you are back in Ayodhya, you will not cause any bitterness to Kaikeyi. You will treat her as the mother with the respect that she deserves. Bharata says, so be it. And Bharata, he presents the sandals to Rama. He says, Rama, step over this and give me these sandals. I will take these sandals, I will take them to Ayodhya, and they will do the kingdom. They will do the rule. I will not be the ruler. I will be a servant to these sandals. He presents the sandals. Rama, he turns to the east. Look, I mean, there are so many details in Ramayana that we have to really, I have to really thank this forum that we are getting a chance, we are getting an opportunity to get to these details. Rama turns towards east because whenever we buy a new dress, for example, for Diwali, our elders, they take the dress, they put the kumkum on top of it, they show it to God, and then they give it to us. We do the prostration, take it, and then we are asked to turn to east and then wear it. That's the respect that we do to our anything that we assume new. Rama is not missing out even on this, even in these testing times. He turns towards east. He steps onto the sandals. He comes out of it. Bharata picks it up. He keeps it on his chest, and he turns to all. And then he circumambulates Rama and he ascends his chariot. Rama, he prostrates all the mothers. The mothers are unable to move forward. Bharata, somewhere he gets a sense of relief because he doesn't have Rama to take back to Ayodhya, but he has a Rama Paduka. That is giving him some sort of a strength now. But the mothers are still wailing, they are still crying. Rama prostrates in front of them, and with his eyes all welled up, the tears flowing down his eyes, he walks into his hut. Because if he stays there, nobody is going to move. He just moves into the hut to allow everybody to go. Slowly, with hardly any heart, each person starts getting back to their respective chariots, and this entire cavalcade, it slowly moves. They reach Bharadwaja Ashrama. Bharadwaja inquires Bharata about what happened. They narrate everything that had happened. They move on. They reach Sringiverapura, and finally they reach Ayodhya. This is where Bharata sees Ayodhya, which is totally devoid of any life. There is hardly any life, and there is a full sarga where Valmiki depicts Ayodhya in the eyes of Bharata. It looks like a string of ornaments. It looks like a string of ornament where every other bead, every other ruby and pearls, all those beads have gone away. It looks like a big, very busy market which is devoid of any activity. So he looks at all this, and Bharata, he feels for himself, what sort of a city is this that I am going to rule? I am not going to be the one ruling this. He goes into Ayodhya, he drops his mothers, he requests them that I am not going to reside in this city. I am going to be residing in the Nandigram, and I will take this Padukas, I will do the Pattabhishekam to the Padukas. It will be sitting in the Rajya Simhasana. I will be reading out all the national affairs, all the local affairs, everything would be done by me. I am just the safekeeper for this kingdom. Saying so, he takes the Padukas to the Nandigrama and he does the Paduka Pattabhishekam. He does the holy water, he sprinkles on top of it, and he does all the sevas. He holds the umbrella, he does the chamara. So, Savala Vyajanam Chhatram Dharaya Masasa Swayam Bharata Shasanam Sarvam Padukabhyam Nyavedayat. He does everything and he reads it out. So whenever there are important decisions to be taken, he briefs the Paduka of what it is about. He does a daily briefing, he does a weekly briefing, and whenever there is a council of meeting, he makes sure that that happens right in front of it. So to him, the actual king is the Padukas, and that's how he counts on every other day for Rama's return. And there ends the lovely Kandam of Ayodhya Kandam. There are few more sargams where Rama would be visiting the Atri Maharishi, and then he would be entering the Dandakaranya forest, which we would look at the next week. With this, we come to a closure of this lovely Ayodhya Kandam, which talks nothing but all the aspects of Dharma, all the aspects of Satya. How should there be an adherence to what is nobility? How should there be a love and affection among brothers? All these Valmiki takes us through the living example, the Maryada Purush of Rama. So with that, I'd like to close my address today. Closing prayers.